and gentlemen, we are back in English and I welcome Peter Hawley to a second interview now. Peter, great to see you for an update. How are you?
Excellent, Jan. Excellent. Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. Yes. Today we speak about new developments at your Mexican silver property, but the main topic is copper because you announced there a spin-off. But first of all, we have a look at the current events at the Mexican silver property. What happened there? You announced an extension of the drill program to 9,200 meters. It must have been encouraging, and indeed it was. I know it.
Yes, you do, yeah. No, it was. Originally, it was slated for 8,000 meters, yeah, and we extended another 1,200, and that included bringing a second drill in to drill from underground. And that is more definition drilling of upgrading the present resource. But as you see from our exploration drilling, we're finding new stuff all the time.
Very good. Peter, and the last result was high grade. This is something every investor loves, and 2 point something kilo. I'd like to show this to our audience from the recent press release. Here we got it, Peter. Here is the drill core with 2.269 kilos silver equivalent. So it looks impressive.
Well, what's really interesting about this, Jan, and I remember back in the old days when you and Frank came down in the early days of Scorpio mining, and we'd go up and look at what they call the Candelaria mine, and you would see similar to this. And the reason why it's so interesting is it's all silver. It has very little lead credit at all to it. So usually when you see silver, you'll see an association with lead with it because it's coming from a galena-based silver mineral. In this case, it's either argentite or native silver or the silver sulfates. So you're seeing very little lead. And the reason why, and plus you're seeing about 4 times elevated gold. And so what that's doing is telling us this is a feeder, a high temperature feeder coming from a very high level epithermal, the bonanza grade area you want. And that's what you want to chase. So that was very, very exciting indeed, yes.
And reading the press release, there was stated that you have 3,000 and something meters now, and the total program is 9,000, so 2/3 are still outstanding. I think we can expect a lot of results in the coming weeks.
Absolutely. And you know what, Jan, this is very funny because originally, when we came out of the gate in December, we did a financing, and the financing was for $4 million. And it was oversubscribed, and we closed it at $4.6 million. So here we are today, 6 months later. We're drilling like crazy, added a second drill. We've done the geophysics. We're going flat out. And we actually have more money in the bank account today than we did at the closing of the financing. So that's due to warrants being taken down. So that puts us in a very strong position. And the reason why I'm saying this, Jan, as we're approaching the end of this drill program, if we like what we see, we're certainly in the cash position to just keep on drilling.
And this is something in the exploration space, which is not so common. But Peter, the main topic today is the copper story. We know all the copper price is rising. It made a new high, now a bit consolidating. The outlook is very bullish, obviously. And you announced in the last press release that there will be a spin-off of the copper assets that you inherited from the past life company, from the previous company, so-called. Give us, please, a little overview what we can expect. But let me first show to our audience where the property is situated. Okay.
So here we are with the property map, and the red star being the main group of properties. It's 2 hours west of Fort Nelson, British Columbia, or approximately 6 hours northeast or north-south of Watson Lake. Actually, the Alaska Highway goes through the edge of our property.
That's good. It would have been another question, Peter. The infrastructure is always a problem, a key problem, because what do I expect from a property in the Andean Rocky Mountains at 5,000 meters with nothing around me, but the infrastructure seems to be okay there.
Well, it is. I mean, yeah, and in the same way, I can say the exact same opposite is, I've been down in Mexico doing the exact same thing in the middle of friggin' nowhere, right? So the only difference is that it's nice and warm in Mexico all the time, and here it isn't. But no, you're right. It makes a big difference. And actually, ironically, where the Alaska Highway goes through our claim block on the edge, there's an outfitter there. And this outfitter, we've rented for the field season 5 log cabins, with kitchenettes and stuff. So it makes it very easy for living accommodations.
We have a closer look at 2 certain parts of the property because your property consists of 3 claim groups. Here we got it: Neil, Toro, and Bronson.
Yes, and what I would say about this is that if you look at the top top left-hand corner, that's actually, and you can see sort of a brown line going down north-south, that's actually the edge of the Alaska Highway going through our claim block. So each one is unique in its own sense, but what I will say, and again, we can talk about this later on, is that this is different than a lot of other copper companies and deposits. And the reason why is not only is there numerous showings and with crazy grade, but in addition to that, there's deposits. And note the word deposit. I'm inferring tonnage. And these things, and I've been there, and these things exist, and you can see them go up one side of the mountain and down the other side. So it's beautiful.
Now we have a look at 2 of those deposits, Neil and Davis-Keays. Neil got, as I read, a historic resource with over 3% copper, 3.4% copper in the Eagle vein. What do you expect there from this deposit, assuming you have enough money to develop, to drill it?
Well, there's some things we can do right away. When you come to the Eagle vein, you come to the base of the mountain, and you'll see this vein with semi-massive to massive chalcopyrite running through it. About 5 meters wide. And this vein goes up the mountain for 1,200 feet, vertically across the mountain for 1.4 kilometers, and down the other side of the mountain for about another 1.2 kilometers. So on Davis-Keays, what's so unique about this is in the late 60s, a company came in, and there was another mine, Churchill, which I'm sure you're going to ask me about, but the Churchill was in production. And this one is its sister, not very far away. And so what they did was they drove in at the base of the mountain, right through the mountain from one side to the other side on this copper vein, and built drill bays and drilled. And then they moved upwards, and X number of feet above them, they did the exact same thing through another portal through the mountain, finally developing a total of 5 portals. And this is all developed. So this all is there today. So those portals should be reopened. And then you have a jewelry box in front of you.
Fantastic. And you just said it already, Churchill. I read there it was a historic mine. It used to work until the 1970s. There were some issues. They stopped mining, and the copper price, same as silver and gold, was totally different from today, and they left a lot of the resources there. But before you talk about this, let me show to our audience a really high-grade piece that I found in your presentation. This one, Peter, from Churchill, very impressive. 27% copper, incredible.
It is quite unique. The only reason, the thing about this, Jan, is the Churchill mine did not stop because it wanted to. At the time of closure, the price of copper was 78 cents a pound, and it was making money. And as such, that was when the Davis-Keays mine, or the Eagle vein right next to it, was being developed, getting ready to go online into production. Along with the Churchill continuing. And what happened was in 1974, the NDP government came into British Columbia, and they declared a moratorium on mining.
NDP, what is this, Peter?
National Democratic Party
Okay.
in Canada. They're green, very strong green party. So they put a moratorium on mining. And as such, those things shut down right away, and no one's gone back to them since.
But now many things have changed. Is there any other showing that you consider of particular interest additionally to those we mentioned?
I would say the Neil vein, and it's on the presentation, and you can see the Neil vein. I've been on the Neil vein, exactly same as I described what you would see in the Eagle vein, as far as, you know, at the base of the mountain, seeing the mineralization run up the side on the top. We channel sampled up top. Yeah, and I think it was over 22 meters, and we had over 6-point-something% copper. You can see it go across the top for almost 2 kilometers and down the other side. But what's cool about this is not only is there a very well developed quartz vein with all kinds of various exotic copper minerals, but beside it is a huge breccia. And this breccia, of course, extends the side of it. Now the breccia has a little less grade, but it's a big target. And I would, dollars to donuts, you know, after the Key or the Eagle vein would have went into production, I bet you this was the next one that they were going to go after. So there's lots of things to begin with. It's just, but here's the real question, Jan, and this is really interesting for the audience to think about. When you're looking at a mountain going up above you and down below, okay? So you're seeing a cone, and you're seeing a cone in the 3rd dimension. You're standing at the base of a cone, and you're seeing it go up, and you're seeing mineralization go through it and everything else. Now think about if you're at the top of that cone. And if you're at the top of that cone and you covered everything below you. So now you're standing on the earth. You're standing on a piece of earth, but you don't know what's below you. And I have to spend all this money drilling down below to see if it's there or not. Whereas this way, I'm standing, you know, 1,600 feet downwards of this thing, looking at it going up and around. I already know it's there. I just have to quantify it. But here's the question. The question is, we are at the valley floor. What goes on below the valley floor that I can't see? How far does this thing keep going? That is interesting.
I think you will start to find out shortly. And as I saw you use state-of-the-art technology again, as you did it many years ago in Mexico. And this time, not you personally, but a device is flying around and making very interesting pictures. And I show it to our audience right now. Have a look. Now we saw the drone footage. Please explain us, what did we see here? It looked to me, it came from high altitude and then downwards.
Yes, what's happening, Jan, is the drone is flying at an elevation of about 250 meters. And what it's doing is it's sending out like an infrared ray all over the place. And what it's doing is it's creating a 3D stitched wireframe of its surroundings, of the mountains and everything else. But on top of that, it's taking 8K photographs, which are compressed to a video, and it layers that over the 3 dimensions. So you're creating a 3-dimension image. You're not taking a photograph, you're taking a 3-dimension image. Here's the interesting thing about it. So I know where every speck of that 3-dimension image is if I want a location. But yeah, here's what's interesting in today's world is my resolution on that drone, this big brother watching you, is 30 centimeters. So at the end of the day, after flying some drone footage, I can take it, cover a huge area, take it, put the footage on my tablet, look at it, zoom in to 30 centimeters below the surface, of which we just saw on the drone footage. see the copper mineralization there, know the exact X, Y, Z, or GPS coordinate, and then hand it to the helicopter pilot the next day and say, take me there. I think that's pretty cool.
And it saves a lot of money, a good method to save money and to focus on the key areas, right?
That's right. You spend money to save money, actually, Anne, to tell you the truth.
Mm. And now, Peter, we have to come to the financial aspect of the copper story, because there will be free shares for those investors who have Fabled Silver and Gold now. They get, for every 5 shares they own, 1 new copper share. When do you expect to close this deal and to deliver the new shares? How is the process here?
Okay, you're absolutely right. For every 5 shares of silver, you get 1 free share of copper. And it's a non-taxable event, so there's nothing going to happen. It's not going to cost you anything. It's free. And this is for a shareholder no matter where you live. Yeah, because some people have asked me that, well, I live in Germany, will I get it? Yes, if you're a shareholder, you will get your copper shares. We're going through the transaction, some of the paperwork right now, but our timeline for closing this and complete transaction to the new company trading on the TSXV is mid-September. But meanwhile, the team starts, this is very exciting, the copper team, which is comprised of 10 people, 9 geologists and 1 geophysicist, who will also be doing some ground geophysics while he's there. The team starts the beginning of July in the field. So
it would have been the next question, what you intend to do in the remainder of the year and maybe next year also.
Well, this is setting the stage for a big drill program next year. Yeah, and that's the whole purpose of this. And you heard me before say, what happens below the Eagle vein? How far down does that go? Now, can you imagine if you already know the Eagle vein, it's already in a bankable feasibility study that was done in the 70s. No, it's not 43-101 compliant today, but what, it's still sitting there in front of you. It hasn't changed, and they calculated tonnage, and there's 1.6 million tons of 3.47% copper sitting there. Well, what happens if you drill underneath it and you have the same amount, which you would actually think you would think you would have more, because it should be widening as you go deeper, not getting narrower. So that's the question. So part of the ground truth in this program is locating drill sites.
Peter, thank you for this interesting update. We are looking forward to getting free shares and to more exciting drill results from Mexico, of course, and then hopefully soon from Canada, from the Muskwa property. Thank you for today, and all the best to Val-d'Or.
Thank you very much. And Jan, once this COVID thing is over and you can travel, we'll fly to British Columbia and look at some copper and maybe do some salmon fishing.
We have to. Thank you, Peter. See you.
Bye now.
Bye.